Welcome to another day in the Matrix, Waters Above Crypto. Today I'm going to go over some key takeaways from the past two videos I posted this week, along with some Gematria Numerology that I used to be able to determine what would happen in the market on this exact day, August 5th. Also, I launched some new merch last night, some crewneck sweatshirts and hoodies for my Aussie and Kiwi family over there in the wintertime, and just in time for the fall season coming soon. I designed this logo that I call the first eye that symbolizes my personal journey of awakening in this matrix. We have the moon cycle, Isis, the red pill to wake up and finally see that you're in the matrix, and the Taurus field as the pupil, the Taurus being our organic system and a symbol of infinity, going within and seeking infinite wisdom. The back is the chakras with the waters above, the firmament, and at the bottom, how I end every video, much love, because love is the answer, the most valuable currency, and what keeps us together regardless of our differences. If only as a species we could collectively focus on love, imagine the changes we would see in society. But of course, in order to actually exist in a love-based frequency, you first have to remove your fears, and this is what the first eye logo symbolizes. Learning that you're infinite, learning that you're one with all, you're sharing a unified experience with seemingly different points of attention. Those who have eyes can simply understand, but those who have the eye to see can begin to overstand and work towards removing the fears to eventually understand. And that's where your truths exist. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria Numerology and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious people to help grow this community. And for those of you that want to learn how to do technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, you can join my mastermind course. My email's in the description box to get in contact with me for access to the course. And with that being said, let's take the red pill. So in yesterday's video, just a quick recap, this moment right here at 8 minutes and 53 seconds, you can see that I actually drew out this W pattern, and I showed you the rejection of where this would hit around this cluster of trading, which was $40,000. So now let's look at what's happened today. We can see we have gone up, rejected at $40,000, and then we started to create the second V of the W. So let's just AB. W, W, W. And notice that yesterday when we made this video, the price action was on its way up into creating the neckline of the W. So we were sitting at around 39,000 or so. And that is right about here where we're at right now. We came up to 40, got rejected, and came right back down to the previous lows. And we actually textbook bounced off of the 236, which you can see is something that I was talking about all the time yesterday, because the 21 EMA on the daily was sitting at that level as well. I mentioned in that video around the 8-minute 50-second point to consider that when we have our daily close, that the 21 EMA will actually shift into the 236 fib. And look at that. If I zoom in, you can see it is exactly at that 21 EMA. It bounced, hit on the 236 fib, and it's been a nice move up since that moment happened. And we might get a very bullish close regardless of this happening. And now we kind of want to go back as to why I was anticipating this move, why I was anticipating a correction today. And this all goes back to my video on Tuesday. So if you watch my video from this Tuesday, you'll see my example behind taking from Rosh Hashanah and measuring backwards. And when you go 77 days backwards, you actually get to our lows in the microstructure. So you could see right there, 77 days, it was the 22nd of June, and that was where we got our microstructure lows. Bitcoin got around $28,700. Now, if I go even further back, 111 days, it gets to the May 19th crash. So we have the 111 and we have the 77, and the difference between those new numbers, removing the start date, gives you 33. So from the start of Rosh Hashanah going back to today, we have 33 days. That's why I was very confident we would come down today, because even though we had a very bullish day yesterday, I wasn't convinced that we were going to get out of this cycle that they keep putting us in. So this is amazing to see this all come into play. And another thing, another big point about today was coming back to the Gematria. So if I typed in the day 8/5/2021 being the 5th of August in 2021, we get the 18. And that 18 comes back to Shemitah. Shemitah equaling 18 in Chaldean, 18 being a very important number in Hebrew. We talked about that on the video on Tuesday, so please go back and watch that so you could be enlightened. Now, another thing that's really interesting is another alternative spelling to Shemitah when you translate it to English is with an H at the end. And look at that, you get the 111 and you get the 33. Just like I was showing you, when you go back 111 days of since the Shemitah to this crash that we got on May 19th, it was 111 days. The same thing goes with today having a low day on the 33 days between. So it's fascinating. And also you get that 78. It's almost that 77. And that would have been amazing to have all that confluence. But just another thing to consider here is the Shemitah with the 23 in Chaldean, and that coming back to Bitcoin 23 in Chaldean. So I think that's also a little bit, just kind of like a side note. But anyways, let's break down a little more, right? So Shemitah equaling the sabbatical year, and sabbatical year literally means 7th. Okay, so let's type out 7th, and with 7th, you're getting 33 in Chaldean, right? Again, this 93 is important with the word 7th because the 93 comes back to Saturn with the 93, okay? And the Sabbath day is a Saturday, and Saturday is the day of Saturn. It's all in the code, okay? And speaking of these 33s, like we get with the Shemitah and with 7th that we get in the Chaldean cipher, this also comes back to Ethereum, right? And ETH has been doing extremely well lately. But one of the things to consider is this London hard fork that happened. And of course, it happened today, which is 33 days before the start of Rosh Hashanah. And the city of London, or let's just consider this, London gives us the 31 in Chaldean, and this is the 31st week of the year. And it happened on the 5th of this month, which is the 33 days before Rosh Hashanah. How incredible is all of that, and how it comes back to ETH with the 33. It's absolutely amazing how this all ties together. So again, this London hard fork happening on the 31st week of the year. Again, London equaling 31 in the most pure cipher. And then another thing is London hard fork giving us that 223, which is like reverse skull and bones. You have 322. Remember, everything is as above, so below. So you have the 223 being reverse skull and bones, like you get with London hard fork. And then you have that 74 full reduction, which ties back to Lucifer with the 74. Amazing how these numbers tie together. But anyways, London, and it's obvious the reason why they chose this name, because London is part of the Trinity of finances. You have the City of London, you have the Vatican, and then you have Washington, D.C. And if you go ahead and type in City of London, you get the 55 in Chaldean, and that 55 comes back to Satoshi Nakamoto with the 55 in the same cipher. And Satoshi Nakamoto is Saturn. Satoshi is Saturn, and Saturn is Father Time and the ruler of Earth. The Trinity in my work, when you guys are paying attention to the way that I do Gematria and how I'm doing my decodes, my Trinity is inclusive of Saturn, of course, being Father Time, the ruler of Earth, Venus being Lucifer, the morning star, the light bearer, and Jupiter, who is Zeus, the king of the gods. So if you study these three, you'll be golden in understanding the economy, because that is how the whole economy operates, off of those three. And they are under the sun and the moon. And I could show you even with the code how this all works. So you have Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus giving us that 73 in Chaldean, 73 being the 21st prime number, and they are operating under the sun and the moon with a 37 Chaldean, again reverse 73, and that would give us the 12th prime. So you have Jupiter, Saturn, Venus equaling 73 Chaldean, Sun and Moon equaling 37 Chaldean. One of them is the 21st prime, the other one is the 12th prime. And again, this Sun Moon giving us the 111 and the 33 and the 78, just like Shemitah. It's incredible. So this is something really important for us to consider. When I was doing this analysis and I was able to determine the rejection at 40K, come back to test these lower levels, I loved to see that retest of the 21 exponential, which we got today, this morning, and the 236 fib. And with a strong bounce off of there, if you looked at the 1 hour candle, you're going to see this is a beautiful bounce. Look at how clean and textbook this is. So now what we're looking for, if we were to consider this from a technical pattern, I'm going to go ahead and just say that if we can close a candle above this 4 hourly candle, which starts at about 12 Eastern Standard Time, above these three key exponential moving averages, the 13, the 21, and the 34, this would be kind of a time to go sideways, hold those supports, and then break the neckline eventually. Now, can we come back later today, near like the end of the stock market about to close? Absolutely. We're not out of the cards just yet, and I'm going to show you what you can use to determine what's next. So we're going to use this level right here of 40,000 as our neckline, okay? So you have your neckline, and I'm basically giving you a setup right now. So we have our neckline, and the way this works with W is when you break your neckline, you want to see it go slightly above, and then you want to see it come back to back test the neckline. And then once you get a higher trading price than the previous high of the rejection, that's when you start to move up, and then you'll go into your measured move, which is from the neckline down to the wick lows. You'd move that up to the neckline, and that gives you about $42,600. Where does that put you? Right at the last rejection. That makes so much sense because that's the 382 fib. Now, getting a daily closure above the 382 fib, or better yet, a 2-day or a 3-day closure above that fib, that would be huge, and that would be indicative of potentially fulfilling some sort of bull flag scenario. So I'm not entirely sure if we could be confident in calling this a bull flag, but if we just consider all things, this does have the potential. And if I was to move this flagpole from the closures to the closures and then do it half staff being, and I would want to go to the wicks on this so we don't get an overly bullish target, but you can see we're somewhere around 49,600, and that would make sense because that's coming in slightly below the 618, and the 5 to 618, the 0.5 fib, anything above that, you start considering a bull trap. So again, this is, it's a lot of information for the average person, but bear with me. You know, yesterday's video and the video before that, we've been pretty much calling it play by play in this market, even the W breakout on the 4 hour chart. And anyone who's watching my stuff, you guys know I don't talk about the 4 hour too much. I like to focus on macro time frames. But again, I've been trading for a while. I've been doing Wyckoff analysis and helping people with this for a while. So if I was to zoom in, it would be easier to find things, but I want people to be focused on the bigger picture. And sometimes with analysis, especially as a content creator, focusing too much on the smaller time frames could be very overwhelming for the average person. And my goal is to get people to not be afraid to get into technical analysis. I want to actually get people motivated and excited to learn TA. And that's where you get the moon cycles and you get all this extra information. So one other thing that we could talk about in the daily that is very important is the 58-day bottoms. So I made a video on my Patreon called the 56 to 58 day bottoms, and I went over it, where every 56 to every 58 days we get a pullback. So you measure right here over 58 days, and you could see we get the pullback right on that date. Then if you go from this date and you measure over 58 days, you basically see that we got into the crash territory, and you could keep doing this over and over again. It's amazing. If you go right here, which was that Thanksgiving crash over 58 days, it brings you right here into this cluster of pullback. So let's just consider all of this stuff. We'll take this big pullback on this day right here and go over 58 days. And where does that bring us? The absolute lows in the microstructure. And then if you take from this pullback right here on this day and measure over 58 days, what do you know it? It's today, which just so happens to be 33 days before the start of Rosh Hashanah. This is an amazing indicator. It doesn't require any skills. You're just counting the days. You're looking at it from a fractal-based analysis. You're taking every 56 to 58 days and measuring. That's it. I've done all the hard work. Now you just got to apply it to your own charts. So we can see here, this is obviously a big pullback date. We go over 58 days, and let's see where that brings us. So that brings us right around the full moon time frame of August, which we always get our pullbacks then. Let's take our recent lows. Let's go over 58 days and see where that brings us. That brings us right to the 16th of February, which is very close to the full moon. The full moon being the 20th within 4 days. Like I tell you guys all the time, all of your new moons and full moons, you get a time span 4 days early or 4 days later to see your microcycle bottom or microcycle top. With the full moons, it's bearish. With the new moons, it's bullish. So we could use all this data and be able to make some pretty solid moves in this market. So just be considerate that today was a standard ritual day for the elites. Again, the 33 number is really important to them. Again, the fact that ETH equals 33 is a huge sign that will be here to stay forever. Ethereum isn't going anywhere. The only thing that's going to change about Ethereum is all those ERC20 shit coins are going to go away eventually. And that's a very good thing for this sector. Once those start to get drained away, the network itself will become stronger. ETH 2.0 will be fantastic. Having it become deflationary in the future will also be very, very good. So all these things considered, I'm extremely bullish on Ethereum, and it's because you're betting on the NWO. It's simple. Once you know the Jesuits are controlling all of this stuff along with, the rest of the cabal, you can just streamline a lot of your overthinking and just be able to see it for what it is, which is the truth. And although it might be hard to swallow, it's a red pill that's necessary to take. So let's just quickly look over XRP and then we'll wrap this up, because XRP seems to have a textbook bull flag in the making. If I was to give you a measured move from candle body closure to candle body closure, we're looking at half staff conservatively. If I was to pull it down to that 69 level, we're looking at about 91 cents on the upside. And again, any closures on the daily, 2-day or 3-day above the 236 fib, extremely strong. And this would add bullish confidence in the chart. And moves up to the 382 will happen fast after that, the 382 being the $1.06 level. So we should at least see that before the end of this month. Again, it could take all the way until the end of the month for this to play out, because we'll start moving into the 32nd week of the year, which is next week. And that 32 comes back to Leo, and we're in Leo zodiac at this time. Again, this comes back to XRP with the 23s. And Ripple with the 32s, as above, so below. So give it time, everyone. Let's be patient. I think that we're doing some incredibly unique analysis over here, and now we're seeing it play out even on these smaller time frames. I wasn't going to make a video today, but I felt like it would be great to recap and just kind of get everyone aware that, this type of TA is really important to focus on. If you focus on it for what it is and remove the emotion of your opinion or bias towards a particular crypto, you'll be able to utilize this code of Gematria Numerology and Astrology and this form of TA to be able to master what's going on in this market. Again, if you want to learn about the economy, you need to study astrology. And when you're studying astrology, you're not studying the NASA lie. You're studying the actual mythologies, the titans, the rulers of Earth. Got to learn about that stuff if you want to be able to understand what's going on in this market. So anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of your day in the Matrix. Much love.